of two in ELA 2024, which was 2 years back now. So, but before beginning, I just want to get an idea exactly कौन से students are majorly in this session. The ones who are giving the paper this time around, can you please raise your hand? And also the people who will give the session, no, sorry, give the paper next year, they also. Okay. पहले हाँ वही वाले जिनका इसी साल है तो मेजॉरिटी है. Okay, and the ones who have it next year?
इवन हमारे वालों को हमने ज्यादा बुलाया नहीं था जो नेक्स्ट ईयर वाले, बट ग्रेट
Okay.
इफ देयर इज एनीवन हु इज एक्चुअली अटेम्प्टिंग इन
ठीक है,
नेक्स्ट ईयर.
that's great, Adit.
Also, by the way, I want to ask one thing. How many guys here are not comfortable in Hindi? You can let us know. Matlab, it's totally fine because I understood some people are probably not comfortable with Hindi. You can just raise your hand. Huh.
Yes, just let me
No
know
worries. No
what mode
worries.
would you prefer, completely English or like, yeah.
Sure. ठीक है. Only Lakshmi. चलो, no worries, Lakshmi. For you, will ensure that I'm pretty sure till now you're at least a little more comfortable in Hindi. You must have heard a lot of Hindi from me and Kanavya. No worries.
Okay, but I'll keep it in English, strictly in
There's
English.
another person, Anna. So, Kanav, I'll just suggest you take it in English, but do repeat the sentences in English. Don't also fully take it in English because I think for most students, they'll be more comfortable with Hindi. So, do it in English, and if any sentence you're saying fully in Hindi, just repeat it in English.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So yes. So guys, before going to the sectional, there are just a few things which I really wanted to highlight. Um, a bunch of things. Firstly, I know that a lot of you are very much, afraid of logical. A lot of people have this phobia of logical, right? And a lot of you, and there are like a bunch of reasons for that. So it's very important that you exactly know why do you feel this phobia of logical. Matlab, if I have to give an example of this, uh, there was a friend of mine whom like I was preparing together with them, and he was like always very tensed. He, I mean, logical is not good. Like he was very tensed that my logical is not nice, and how will I get through the CLAT paper? But then what worked out in his favor, like what happened was that basically he was bad in the logical of a particular coaching ke mocks that we gave. Right. So what happened was we used to give same coaching के mocks over a मतलब same period of time. We were giving उसी coaching के mocks बार बार. So what happened? That then we switched the coaching के mocks that we were giving, and then suddenly he like got very good marks. In the PYQs he got really good marks. So then like the initial idea was कि oh मेरी एक दिन में logical ठीक होगी इस तरह से मतलब I just found a way out. But no, that was not true. How it happened was that essentially logical is a lot about perspective, right? Sometimes certain coachings just make similar subjective and perspective वाले mocks. तो उससे क्या होता है कि logical just becomes too like at times you don't match their logical, but that does not really mean that you're bad at logical. And Riddhi is writing that she's facing the same issue. And trust me, guys, that is why that's the reason behind the session. And like I personally have seen like four preparation journeys to बहुत closely because that was my group, right? So मेरी preparation journey plus the three of my friends. So I've seen their prep journey मतलब very closely. Apart from that, also seen a lot of students. So trust me, there are only some issues which everyone faces, and these issues are like not that big as well. Um, Not an issue, Vrinda. So, like, now what to do in this situation? Ideally, what happens is that even if you're bad in some coachings, logical, that does not mean that you're bad in logical in general, right? So, you should not let your confidence get dipped because of the fact that you cannot score good marks in some coaching's logical section. So that's there. And that person in general, like, ended up doing quite well, at least in CLAT logical. He's in NLU Jodhpur right now. So that just shows कि मतलब like he did not do anything extraordinary or did not change anything. He just genuinely जो logical का level उस time था, he just gave the paper. So the whole idea is that we have to be ready with regards to what CLAT and ALET might throw at us, right? And not what some coaching would want us to have, like ऐसा. So that's there. Apart from that, another reason why a lot of people face issues with logical is not being clear with concepts, right? Does like anyone feel that here that they are not much sure about what is inference, what is assumption, what is strength and weaken, paradox. So, Mother, is there anyone in the session who feels that? Anyone? That's yeah, Samuel. Thank you for sharing that. So, like first of all, how do I pronounce your name?
You can call me Sam.
What can I call you?
Sam.
Um, okay, Sam, right? Sure, Sam. So, Sam, basically, when this happens, right? Then like this is one of the ways in which you are just not able to understand the question, right? So that is why you get it wrong. So now what is the way by which you can learn that out? There are two three ways, I'll be very honest. Number one has to be there's this book called Willy, right, which has all the logical question stems and theory around it. So you can either read through that. Second is like I personally have only made like a bunch of videos over it. So you can access that. matlab, the team will let you know how to do that. But that also covers all जो question stems होते हैं, paradox, strength and weakness, assumption, inference, all that. So that's like these are the two ways I personally would मतलब say कि any works. Mainly the book wala thing worked a lot क्योंकि I was in general better when the book taught me instead of someone teaching me. So like either of the things would work. So whatever you choose that's there and just do this before you actually start preparing sorry when before you actually give the paper and trust me you'll see a marked increase in your mock scores and everything. So do get like this is the way by which you can actually get मतलब logical sorted.
Yes.
So yes, so they also mentioned that majorly they make assumption के question wrong. So yes, that happens, and that's majorly like might be happening because you are not maybe clear with what assumptions are, right? So this is another way to figure out कि exactly mock में are you getting one question wrong again and again, one question time. So that essentially means that you are मतलब you need to get your concept clear around that thing. Yes, Akansha, you were about to say something.
I just said thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. I guess I can't share also. And no worries. Also, guys, one more thing which I had personally faced, and tell me if any of you is facing. Did it happen with you that you started off and like did thoda logical ki kuch books and something or the other, and then you were scoring very well. Then suddenly you decided, let me up my game, let me do more difficult questions, and then you started off with some heavy logical book and but I'll just tell you what I did. So I was like at a very comfortable position in 11th only with regards to CLAT. I was preparing since a long while. Plus, matlab reading newspaper reading was very regular. Everything was very perfect type, right? So then I thought that basically, given that I have so much time and yes, matlab that also at times backfired. तो मेरे पास बहुत time है, तो let me do this. Let me take up some heavy logical books. What if CLAT someday decides that they will take up questions from CAT, which is a PG level examination, which is a unreasonable expectation to have. कि why will a UG level examination take up PG level के questions, right? तो इट्स लाइक सेइंग कि तुम डिस्ट्रिक्ट के मतलब बैडमिंटन वगैरह खेल रहे हो तुम एक्सपेक्ट करो कि यार ये डिस्ट्रिक्ट जो मेरे सामने आ रहा है व्हाट इफ ही suddenly becomes a national level like good player, right? That does not make sense. But still, I was like, okay, I'll do CAT questions, I'll do GMAT questions, I'll do LSAT questions. Basically, the most difficult kind of logical out there, I'll do it. Like I'll get it right. So I started doing CAT. The book there's called Arun Sharma that is like strictly PG level. मतलब cat maybe it's like very good level. So I did that. Then I did GMAT, Bible के सारे questions, everything. Now, then once I did this over a stretch of like 2 3 weeks, then I was like, okay, now the CLAT mocks will see the best like the CLAT industry will see the best uh, logical being solved ever. Let me show the world that you can get a 24 on 24 in every logical section possible. And at till that point, I was scoring like मतलब तो 30 का होता था 30 questions. तो I was scoring around मतलब 22 to 25 and at times 26, 27 out of 30, which is a very decent score. And even like difficult mocks. Then with all this preparation and everything, I gave the mocks and everything, expecting ki okay, let's get 30 on 13 logically. I ended up getting 15, 16, 14. So my score एकदम से suddenly dropped. एंड देन दैट मेड मी क्वेश्चन कि भाई मतलब इतना तो बढ़िया जा रहा था, उससे पहले ही बेटर जा रहा था, इतना ज्यादा अच्छे से और लॉजिकल पढ़ा. सो हाउ एम आई मेसिंग अप नाउ? कैन एनीवन गेस? और या फिर किसी के साथ सिमिलर ऐसा कुछ हुआ है? सो लाइक, और कैन एनीवन गेस एज टू व्हाई आई वाज फेसिंग दिस?
I guess you are overdoing things. What was expected, you just overdone it.
Yes, that could be one major reason. Anything else?
Because of the change in reasoning, the way CLAT consortium reasons things, and the way some CAT or PG level exam will expect us to reason their questions. So the reasoning change is
Hmm.
the main problem.
Exactly. So Swati, that's so maybe why Swati got this answer right was because she has heard the story before. But so yeah, Sam, that's the reason actually. Basically, these logical like जो CAT, GMAT वाले होते हैं, they have perfect answers. While in CLAT, we do not have perfect answers. सो अब जब मैं क्लैट का पेपर देने लगा, मॉक देने लगा, मैं हर क्वेश्चन मतलब उसमें क्या था कि कैट जीके वगैरह में बहुत सिंपल होता है कि इफ यू कैन फाइंड इवन वन फ्लॉ इन एनी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस, मार्क इट रॉन्ग, वो आंसर नहीं है. अब व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड गिविंग क्लैट वाले, आई मेरी सेंसिटिविटीज विद रिगार्ड टू लाइक फाइंडिंग रॉन्ग थिंग्स इन, जैसे हमारे में क्या होता है मेजरली रॉन्ग, आप क्या बोलते हो कि अगर बहुत एक्सट्रीम ऑप्शन दिखे, नो, लॉट, ये सब, तो सेंसिटिविटीज इंक्रीज लॉट कि अगर ऐसे कोई वर्ड लिखा है तो भी आंसर नहीं होगा, क्योंकि क्लैट जीमार्ट में होता है परफेक्ट आंसर्स. देन आई स्टार्टेड फाइंडिंग दैट इन लाइक क्लैट मॉक्स व्हिच आई कुड नॉट फाइंड, एंड लाइक इट वाज फार फ्रॉम इट, एवरी क्वेश्चन हैड सम इशू. आई वाज फाइंडिंग इट डिफिकल्ट टू मार्क एनी ऑफ द फोर ऑप्शंस. सो सो द होल आइडिया इज कि लॉजिकल का लेवल, लॉजिकल का रीजनिंग, इट डिफर्स फ्रॉम पेपर टू पेपर. It's like majorly helpful that it's fine. So like मैंने भी करा था, even if someone has time, like the one who is in 11th अभी, if you have time, I still recommend that you do GMAT CAT की books. क्योंकि once I had that dip, उसके बाद जब धीरे धीरे I reoriented myself to CLAT का logical वाला reasoning, then I was genuinely very good at logical. मतलब I don't remember any mock जिसमें मतलब at least जितने लोगों के साथ मैं prepare करता था, they were like very decent. One of them got into an LUD as well. So like never did they get any close mark, like any mark closer to mine in logical at least. And that was when one of the major reasons why I got such a rank in A-Late as well, because logical section was very heavy in our time, and I could solve that through. So, like the whole idea is that logical in general becomes very important, but it's just that perspectives different, papers ka level is different. So you have to take care of that. And if you're facing this issue, then just be careful that, matlab, just reorient yourself to CLAT. Yeah, Rishika.
Hi, good afternoon.
Right.
I had this question for a very long time now. Since many of you like suggest us to go with solving the previous year question papers in the last month of our, approaching this CLAT examination. But then I was going through all these videos in YouTube, and then there are many coaching institutions that are assuming that the question paper for CLAT this year would be difficult because obviously everything that happened in the court, they were
Hmm.
called to the court, and then they whatever happened. So how, matlab, what do you suggest? Should we go with solving the previous year question papers or rely on the assumptions? I'm not really able to. Do I have solved past 2 years ka sample papers, and I was doing really good. Like the same happened with me. So there's this institution called 12 Minutes to Class, and when I solve their logical, it is very difficult for me because there's like 50%. So, for example, I get 50% correct and 50% wrong. But then similarly, when then I was solving the like mock test from PW, and then when I went with the previous year question paper, so it was the logical portion felt like it seemed very easy to me. So
Hmm.
like, what do you suggest?
So majorly, firstly, with regards to expecting and predicting the paper, it's a very big part of the game. Predicting the paper, right? Every coaching will do it. Every student will do it. Everyone has certain expectations. But trust me, the best way is don't go with any predictions, but be ready with anything. They might throw a easy paper again. They might throw a very hard paper. That is also possible. And they might throw medium-ish the paper which has been coming. But irrespective, give all types of PYQs. So the idea is just be prepared for any and every type of paper. Like, does anyone know my CLAT rank here? The ones, matlab, do you know my CLAT rank, Rishika?
Not really.
Yeah, I
Just
was,
103.
yeah,
Okay.
1032. So
yes.
I also messed up my CLAT paper. That was majorly, मतलब ऐसा तो नहीं है कि अब 1 week में I changed so much कि 1000 से rank went to 2. Right, my level was always there, but where I messed up was like expecting and expectations about the paper. So what I expected was कि हाँ जीके मतलब पेपर वो जी के पेपर में नहीं लिखी होगी ऐसे ऐसी चीजें, right? And but that did not happen. So the best way is that you obviously will have certain expectations the paper kaisa aayega, but ideally tone them down, and whatever kind of the paper comes, your motive there should be to get as many questions as right, and as much, like, yeah, that's the whole idea, getting as much as many questions as possible right. So for that, and also like if I had to predict, I also think कि this time around they'll not make the same kind of a paper. क्योंकि there was a very large human cry. But still, it's not beneath them. They might make another year of a foolishly easy paper. So इसलिए do PYQs, but don't, मतलब, yes, so PYQs is important. So you should be doing that, and give every kind of a mock. Give a very difficult mock as well. Give very easy mocks as well. ताकि you know कि exactly how do you go about it. In a difficult mock, the whole idea is that you will not be able to solve everything. You will have to choose to leave certain questions. That in that those kind of question papers, you'll have to focus on your forte. कि अब जो मेरे को ज्यादा पैसेजेस अच्छे लग रहे हैं, इजी लग रहे हैं, उन पे फोकस करोगे. In an easy paper, you have to do everything. You have no other option. You'll just have to keep your like mind very open कि कुछ भी गलत नहीं करना. कि सब सिंपल होता है. बस छोटी छोटी गलतियां होती हैं जहां आप मैसअप कर सकते हो. So the whole idea in small like easy papers becomes कि बस मेरे को कुछ भी गलती नहीं करनी है. Silly mistake नहीं करनी है. So that's there, right? But yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
anything that answer that. Sure. No worries. Yeah, Moral.
Hello, sir. Sir, as you said to do PYQs, I was doing PYQs. I was doing flat 2024, and there was a set in logical only about a management wala question था जिसमें you have to find out कि what is this problem in this office, and I don't remember the exact question, but it was like this. So उसमें I did mistakes like कि उनका point of view ये था कि this will be the answer, and mine was कि this will be the answer. There was no exact answer stated in the passage, and a very close options.
Hmm. So, Mona, like I'll be better positioned if I knew the question, and plus I believe ये थोड़ा मेरे पेपर के बाद वाला question I believe.
You gave CLAT 2024.
हाँ, I gave 2024.
Yeah, it wasn't that only.
हाँ, क्योंकि like the reason why I could say that with थोड़ा certainty was क्योंकि I would have known if you would have told me any logical question. I remember there was once I was taking a class and someone was mentioning some CLAT का question of 2021, and I remembered the passage question and everything. So this is not to flex कि oh मेरे को तो सब याद होता है, but it's more of कि I genuinely gave PYQs इतनी बार कि मुझे अब तक याद है. So मतलब that is just one thing which I wanted to tell you कि मतलब इस बार इसलिए इतनी बार दो. And about जब थोड़ा गलत लगता है ऑप्शन की, ऑप्शन तो very close, and क्वेश्चन पेपर was not perfect उसमें में, तो सी इट्स वेरी मच प्रोबेबल कि एक दो क्वेश्चन ऐसे आ जाएं जो गलत होंगे. तो उसमें अब आपकी गलती नहीं है, राइट? बट अब उसमें बेस्ट के सिनेरियो आपके लिए क्या है? यही है कि मैं तो ये करता था, द होल आइडिया वाज आई यूज्ड टू एलिमिनेट अ लॉट, कि आई टेल यू आई डिड 80% ऑफ माई एलेट का पेपर थ्रू एलिमिनेशन, राइट। सो ट्राई एलिमिनेटिंग जितना हो पाए, कि अगर किसी में बहुत एक्सट्रीम वर्ड लिखा है, नॉट, या फिर गोइंग अगेंस्ट द आइडिया ऑफ द पैसेज, देन यू मार्क इट एज, मतलब रॉन्ग, so मतलब यू डोंट मार्क दैट। एंड इफ यू आर एबल टू बॉइल डाउन एंड लाइक एलिमिनेट टू ऑप्शंस, देन गो फॉर द मतलब क्वेश्चन। और फिर अगर जैसे सी और डी कर ही दिया एलिमिनेट, तो गो विद एनीथिंग फ्रॉम ए एंड बी, इट्स कम्प्लीटली फाइन। सो मतलब चाहे रैंडम गेस ले लो, क्योंकि 50% प्रोबेबिलिटी इज वेरी वेरी गुड। सो दैट इज द वे आई वेंट अराउंड इट। बट मेजरली लाइक कुछ ना कुछ क्यूज होते हैं पैसेज में, कहीं कुछ क्यू होगा, कुछ होगा, राइट। और अगर नहीं है तो फिर डोंट बी हार्श ऑन योरसेल्फ। इफ यू गॉट द क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग, रिमेंबर दैट लॉट ऑफ पीपल विल ऑल्सो गेट दैट क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग। सो इट्स फाइन। सो मतलब दैट्स द वे यू डील विद सच क्वेश्चन, एंड इट्स इनएविटेबल, एक दो क्वेश्चन ऐसे आती है। सो
Okay,
या,
thank you, sir. Thank
मेक
you.
सेंस।
Yeah, yeah.
Perfect. So yes, now moving on to, मतलब हाँ, these are major things which I want to share. Do PYQs a lot. Don't expect कि पेपर कैसा आने वाला है. Just have this mindset. जैसा पेपर आएगा, जितने ज्यादा करेक्ट कर पाएंगे वो करना है. Third has to be कि मतलब get your basics correct. Assumption, strength and weaken. Won't take more than 1 week. मतलब any source that you do, get that right, right. Apart from that, just practice a lot. मतलब practice hell lot. I'll just say that's, and like ऐसा होना चाहिए कि तुम्हें एटलीस्ट 2-3 साल के जो पुराने पेपर्स हैं, लाइक 2023 क्लैट, 2024 क्लैट, 2025 क्लैट, एटलीस्ट ये 3 पेपर बहुत अच्छे से आने चाहिए। कि अगर मतलब इवन इफ आई गिव यू अ रैंडम क्वेश्चन, then you should be able to tell me the passage, the answer, why it was the answer, and all that. And trust me, it might seem difficult, but it is not. क्योंकि मेरे लिए तो ये था कि एनी टाइम दैट आई हैड अ बैड मॉक, आई वुड गिव अ सेक्शनल, कोई क्लैट का ही प्रीवियस ईयर क्वेश्चन। उससे क्या होता था कि तो मेरे को आंसर सब रट चुके थे, तो मेरे को जेनवनली मैं ले आता था 28 आउट ऑफ 30 या फिर 29 और 30। उसके बाद मेरे को मिलता था एक फेक कॉन्फिडेंस, बट माई कॉन्फिडेंस इज कॉन्फिडेंस। तो वो कॉन्फिडेंस मिलता था उससे, और ऊपर से एक बार रिवाइज हो जाता था कि हाँ ये रीजनिंग लगानी है। तो इवन ऑन डे ऑफ माई मतलब क्लैट आई हैड डन दिस, कि मैं थोड़े लॉजिकल के क्वेश्चंस करके गया था PYQs। आई सिलेक्टेड कि इस साल के करके जाऊंगा, क्योंकि मेरा बस माइंड एक बार उस लॉजिकल वाले वे में चलना लग जाए। So I did that. So maybe how you can also do that. But yes, so that's majorly it. I'll now move on to the sectional. But if anyone has
I
anything,
had one last question.
yes,
Uh, uh, does the UG 2023 CLAD previous year question paper consist of 150 questions?
yeah, 2023 was 150. मेरे साल हमारे साल से 120 कर दिया था.
Okay, why so? Any specific reason?
Whims and fancies of the CLAD consortium.
Oh,
They were like, यार बहुत लोगों के बताओ मार्क्स वार्क्स में फर्क आ रहा है, एंड लाइक अच्छे बच्चों की रैंक ऊपर आ पा रही है, हु वांट्स दैट, लेट्स हैव अ लकी ड्रॉ। सो लेट्स रिड्यूस द नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस, मेक इट इजी, सो दैट अ
that's
10th ग्रेड का बच्चा कैन आल्सो डू इट बहुत अच्छे से। फिर हम रैंक्स देंगे सबको, मतलब। सो मे बी दैट्स द आइडिया। But yes, Nishka has asked that what should be the ideal mock score at this stage. Nishka, like that matters, and this is one thing which was different about my preparation from a lot of people, like the way I see it. A lot of you go with this ना कि मेरे इतना mock score मेरे को लेके आना है, like 80, 90, 100 if you can get it. But what I did was not this. I used to focus just on how much of the paper I could have gotten right and how much did I like got it wrong. So what I did कि अब जैसे Monal asked, so there are certain questions which cannot be right. You cannot get them right. It's luck if you get them right. पर वो मतलब गलत question है, तो मैं उन्हें माइनस करता था। रफली मैं क्या करता था कि मैं अपना एक मॉक देता था, उसके बाद आई यूज्ड टू लुक एट एवरी क्वेश्चन आई गॉट रॉन्ग, एंड देन आई यूज्ड टू सी कि कुड आई हैव गॉटन इट राइट। समटाइम्स यस, फटीग होता था, कभी थके होते थे, कभी पैसेज सही से नहीं समझे, देयर वर एन नंबर ऑफ रीजंस। तो आई यूज टू राइट दैट डाउन उसी मतलब मॉक में साइड में, कि भाई ये इसलिए गलत हुआ क्योंकि मैंने ये इंटरप्रेट कर लिया, ये क्यों इंटरप्रेट हुआ, पैसेज से नहीं पढ़ा था, पैसेज क्यों नहीं पढ़ा था, फटीग था। जस्ट टू राइट दैट डाउन। If those questions, which I could have gotten right in English, logical, legal, but I got it wrong, was more than 10, then I felt that the mock went bad. Even if I'm getting a score of 107, But still, I feel the mock went back bad because I could have gotten more questions right, which I did not. If those mistakes were anywhere less than five, then I used to feel that it's a good mock. So those were my parameters, and it's better कि हर mock अलग होता है. In some mocks 60 will be a very good score. While in some mocks, 90 is also not a good score. You could have gotten done better. And this, and that's why like having this, like how it started off with me was I was at a very good position in my preparation. Well, I was doing very well in all the mocks and everything. Then, do you know there's like a boot camp which certain coachings hold, right? 1 week, 7 mocks. So I decided कि I'll go give those 7 mocks. और तब मेरे स्कोर वर लाइक अराउंड 100 टच हो रहा है, 90 आ रहे हैं, 80 आ रहे हैं और अच्छे अच्छे पेपर्स देने में. I really don't know smoke में क्या था. I got 26, 24. I get more in like sectionals. मतलब genuinely 22 क्या होता है स्कोर जीके वगैरह मतलब. फिर मेरे को लगा यार ये तो बहुत ही बुरी हालत है. मतलब 20 मार्क तो बहुत ही बुरी हालत है. इतना खत्म कैसे हो गई. तो फिर मैंने उसको एनालाइज करा. मैंने देखा कि मॉक ही इतना गलत था कि थे ही इतने सारे गलत क्वेश्चन. मतलब उसमें तो हमें को पूरा पेपर ही देखना पड़ेगा. एवरीथिंग वाज रॉन्ग व्हिच आई गॉट. बट सो हैपेंस. और उसमें मेरे लिए 26 वाज अ वेरी गुड स्कोर क्योंकि आई नो कि मेरे दोस्त वगैरह और ने दिया था उनकी तो और बुरी हालत थी. सिंगल डिजिट भी आए थे कुछ लोगों के उस मॉक में. तो एक तो हाँ, आई डोंट गेट द पॉइंट ऑफ सच मॉक्स जिसमें सिंगल डिजिट आ रहे हैं लोगों के. पर श्योर. तो या जस्ट हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ वे. मेक सेंस निष्का? Yeah. In the last mock, I started solving from CR section and scored around 80s. Usually, I score around 12, 13 when I do it later, first English or legal. Legal, I don't know where I'm lagging, or it's conceptual problem. You know what I mean. Really, like, एक तो हाँ, दैट ऑल्सो मैटर्स कि तुम कब अपना सेक्शनल कर रहे हो. एंड ऑल्सो प्रायोरिटाइज इन द सेंस दैट लीगल, इफ यू आर स्ट्रॉन्ग एट लीगल, गो फॉर इट, डू इट फर्स्ट. बट मेजर इट्स जस्ट इंग्लिश एंड लॉजिकल शुड बी आइदर ऑफ द फर्स्ट. एंड उसमें भी जस्ट चूज विच इज इजियर इन द पेपर. हैव अ वाइब कि कौन सा सीन सही लग रहा है एंड डू दैट. एंड अबाउट दिस की मतलब यू स्कोर्ड अराउंड 18, तो हाँ मतलब थोड़ा इजी भी हो सकता है पेपर एंड मे बी यू आर इन अ बेटर माइंड स्टेट, राइट? तो वो भी पॉसिबल है. तो जस्ट ट्राई टू फिगर आउट कि एग्जैक्टली तब उस मॉक में क्या होता है. जस्ट डू अ गुड एनालिसिस ऑफ ईच मॉक. मतलब आई इवन स्टार्टेड दिस एट वन पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम कि मैं अपने को ऑडियो मैसेजेस भेजता था बिफोर स्टार्टिंग एवरी मॉक, टेलिंग कि मैं कैसा फील कर रहा हूँ, मूड, व्हाट एम आई थिंकिंग, ये सब. ताकि मेरे को पता हो कि एग्जैक्टली कैसा सोचना है और कैसे सोच के मेरे अच्छे मार्क्स आते हैं कैसे. एक बार रिमेंबर, सो लाइक वी वर गेटिंग समथिंग, like that person is not that good friend of mine, and we were like in a shop just before the mock, and I was getting a chocolate. So I told him ki bro, you also get one, it's fine. And I did not know that that chocolate was very, matlab, he was like nice ki he said ki whatever you will get, I'll get that. I did not know that that chocolate was very expensive. It was some 250 ka chocolate, which is a lot for a student, which is still a lot. I had to get two. I was sad कि भाई मैंने इस बंदे पे 250 रुपये खर्च थे. तो उसमें genuinely I messed up my paper. I did not do well. Then I realized कि if I'm genuinely अंदर से not happy, then I'll not do well in mock. Then I started this कि अब कहीं ना कहीं कुछ कुछ ऐसा करना कि जिससे मैं खुश रहूँ. I would laugh before the paper किसी तरह से. तो जैसे even on the day of A-Late, my best friend was there and he did something stupid on the day of the A-Late का paper. So we shared a laugh and then we went for the paper. तो like ये ऐसी ऐसी चीजें बहुत मैटर करती हैं and we at times underscore that. And yes, last question before we begin. So as far as I have observed, legal edge का most mocks are थोड़ा difficult level and my mock scores but never gone above 92. That's completely fine, Shivangi. That happens. When you do PYQs, you're supposed to do much better. So if you're doing well in PYQs, don't worry. Matlab, you are very well set. That is the whole idea. Our grand norm is PYQ, not not the LE या फिर किसी coaching का mock. And yes, what is your opinion on coachings making mocks with passages having 800 plus? Should we practice that? I guess yes, क्योंकि once you're ready with 800,000 word passage, तो anything easier, मतलब anything that CLAT might throw at you would seem like such an easy task. जिससे तुम्हें कुछ और जैसे एंग्जाइटी भी होती है ना पेपर के दिन. अगर तुमने इतने बड़े बड़े पैसेजेस देखे हैं और तुम पेपर में इतने ही पैसे देख रहे हो, एंग्जाइटी होगा ही नहीं. इट विल लाइक टू अ ग्रेट एक्सटेंट टेक केयर ऑफ इटसेल्फ. तो इससे इट मेक सेंस टू प्रैक्टिस अच्छे मॉक्स एज वेल. मतलब जिसमें बहुत ज्यादा लेंदी हो. आई यूज्ड टू डू दैट एज वेल एंड इट वाज वेरी हेल्पफुल. तो या But yes, now moving on to the sectional. If you have any doubts, you can even stick around after the session as well. That's completely fine. Huh. Uh, uh, um, can someone just confirm that my screen is visible? Perfect. So,
Yes,
guys,
yes.
what do you think? Like, how will you go around this sectional? Will you start off with the first question itself? Yeah, फिर what would be your strategy? And how many of you have actually solved this sectional? That would just give me a better idea exactly how do we go about the session. We have one person. No, not even one. Like, how many have actually solved the paper? But then we'll matlab, tailor it with us. Someone raised their hand, but then they removed. Okay, so no one has solved it up until. Okay, not an issue. So we'll try to keep it that way. Anyone like who has not solved as well gets an idea. But I'll suggest this key bar just solve. But let's just okay, that's good ki aap log it's first impression of the paper. So let's just see just open the sectional if you can anywhere and just tell me how will you attempt it. Will you go first question to 24th question? Will you choose certain passages? Will you leave something? What will you do? If anyone could just tell me their strategy. Anyone?
I think first I would, just look at the questions itself and I would just mark out the most extreme answers. So when I just read the passage, so I don't have to, like, I'll have like two options at most, which I could choose from.
Okay, no, but majorly before that I was asking like if you had to choose passages, will you do like ऐसे पहले चलो पहला passage कर लेते हैं फिर second, or will you have a strategy there?
I mostly start from the last one.
Okay. So a piece of advice there and like with the anecdote. So essentially, मतलब I'm sure तुम्हारे ये में भी होगा ही कि they like in like certain groups which are there, people know कि हाँ इनकी ऑल इंडिया रैंक इतनी टॉप 10 वगैरह आने वाली है. जैसे आर कोचिंग had predicted कि मेरी टॉप 10 आएगी, आराम से ही आएगी. So right, every coaching has like certain people कि इनकी आएगी rank, right? So we had a group of such people, and it was like majorly you can say like 3 4 people whom we knew कि इनकी ही आनी है top rank. Right. And we all were essentially at the same level. Like seriously. We had given mocks ये सब कुछ तो consistently we were of the same level. हाँ बस किसी का लक किसमें चल गया तो कोई 5 मार्क ऊपर एक में हो गया कोई 3 मार्क ऊपर हो गया ऐसे होता था. But on the day of the exam, those 3 people, among 3 people, I'll just tell you their ranks. One got 17, one got 18, the other got 2. How did that happen? Like, so I'll tell you like what worked in my favor. Same level of comprehension, same level of understanding of the passage, everything same. Just one difference, I strategized. When I looked at my A-Lit paper, a lot of them went, चलो first question से 75th question तक एक साथ करते हैं, which is a wrong strategy to have. What I did was, in the logical section, I divided it into 3 parts. Firstly, I did those passages which were like very easy and small. The ones which will actually give me confidence कि okay, a paper I can do. Because essentially you should be doing starting off with the most easy things. Because when you start the paper, थोड़ा तो anxiety होता है कि what kind of a paper is it? Right. So इसलिए I started off with the very easy portions of the paper. And that's what I did. Like small passages, I just marked them jaldi jaldi. I was able to do some 20, 30 questions out of the logical which was there. Like matlab 75 questions of logical. So 20, 30 I could do then and there in the first round. Now I have already looked at the paper once, and plus I've already solved बहुत ही सारे questions in very less amount of time. Now that got me a lot of confidence कि मतलब bro we are gonna do well in this mock. Sorry, in this paper, real paper. And मतलब it was surprising to have that confidence because throughout that week I was not very confident because I just messed up my CLAT paper 1 week and like CLAT paper because I was expecting कि even like when we were filling up references, I filled NLS, Nalsar, NUJS and then सीधा RG annual वगैरह क्योंकि आई न्यू कि एनालिस्ट की तो नीचे जा ही नहीं रहा लाइक वी आर व्हेन वी आर इवन फिलिंग द मतलब वो प्रेफरेंस लिस्ट तो आई सेड टू माय मेंटर कि मतलब भैया ठीक वो ही वाज टेलिंग मी अबाउट कि ये कॉलेज में ये लाइक भैया देखो एनालिस्ट मिल ही जाएगा मतलब ये तो मतलब सेकंड प्रेफरेंस भी क्यों भर रहा हूँ आई एम जस्ट आई डोंट नो मतलब भरनी पड़ती है इसलिए बट द होल आइडिया इज कि आई वाज वेरी ओवर कॉन्फिडेंट अराउंड दिस, बट आई हैड एन आइडिया, मतलब ये रैंक आएगी, ये सब ऐसे होगा। बट देन उतनी एक्सपेक्टेशन से तुम्हारी रैंक आ रही है, तुम्हें दिख रहा है कि एनालिस्ट तो नहीं मिल रहा, क्लैट में सब करा है, तीन लोगों को मैं जानता था, तीनों का पेपर मेरे से बेटर गया था, तो मतलब जो मेरे क्लोज थे। तो मेरे को लग रहा था भाई अगर मेरा इतना सैम्पल साइज है, उसमें भी अगर ये लोग बेटर कर गए तो मतलब इंडिया में तो कितने सारे होंगे। तो मुझे लग रहा था मेरी रैंक तो गई। तो उस कॉन्फिडेंस, मतलब उस टाइम बहुत कॉन्फिडेंस डिप का टाइम था, बट स्टिल जब मैंने ये वाली एक्सरसाइज करी ना कि मैंने लॉजिकल के सबसे इजी क्वेश्चंस पेपर में बैठ के सबसे पहले कर लिए, तो एक गॉट टू नो कि भाई मतलब एक रियलाइज हुआ कि मतलब मेरा वो जो लेवल है वो यही है, और कुछ नहीं होता, मतलब कॉन्फिडेंस बढ़ गया आफ्टर वेरी लाइक 1 वीक ऑफ हैविंग लो कॉन्फिडेंस। आई genuinely गॉट रियल कॉन्फिडेंस ड्यूरिंग दैट टाइम। देन आई वेंट एंड डिड दोज क्वेश्चंस विच वर just not difficult, कि मतलब it will take time, ऐसे नहीं थे। I just did all and every question in the logical section which was not difficult. I did silogs. So majorly like जो भी मेरे थोड़े strong suit थे मैंने वो सब उस टाइम कर लिए, जो थोड़ा टाइम भी लेते बड़े passages, ये सब करके I was done with majority logical. Now I'm left with 15 questions which I find to be a bit difficult, which include stuff like coding, decoding, ये सब। तो व्हाट आई डिड उस 15 में भी आई वेंट अनदर राउंड, आई सॉ कि कौन से अभी कर लेने चाहिए, उनको एकदम खत्म कर दिया। आई वाज लेफ्ट विद 3-4 क्वेश्चंस ऑफ कोडिंग डिकोडिंग, व्हिच आई थॉट कि चलो इनको एंड में भी कर सकते हैं, तो लेट्स मतलब लेट्स मूव टू समथिंग एल्स। देन आई मूव टू इंग्लिश। इंग्लिश में भी डिड द सेम थिंग, 3 राउंड्स में पैसेजेस करें, डिफिकल्ट सॉरी वेरी इजी, मतलब मीडियम डिफिकल्टी एंड स्टफ दैट आई जस्ट फाउंड डिफिकल्ट, बिल्कुल एंड दिस वे। एंड नहीं, हाँ सॉरी, बीच मैंने जी की करा था। सो दिस वे आई वाज रनिंग थ्रू द पेपर राइट, एंड वन मोर थिंग व्हिच आई डिड वाज नॉट लुक एट द वॉच एंड जस्ट हैड दिस अर्जेंसी इन माई माइंड कि ये एलेट का पेपर है, पिछले साल एलेट का पेपर लोगों का खत्म नहीं होता, इवन AIR 3 लेफ्ट 8 क्वेश्चंस। तो ऐसा है कि दिस पेपर इज लॉट अबाउट हु गेट्स मोर क्वेश्चन, हु अटेम्प्ट्स मोर क्वेश्चंस। तो आई हैव टू अटेम्प्ट ईच एंड एवरी क्वेश्चन जितना जल्दी हो पाए। तो मैं बहुत जल्दी से रशअप कर रहा था। तो आई रिमेंबर जब इंग्लिश में लास्ट के पैसेज था, लास्ट एक पैसेज बचा है और 3 मेरे क्वेश्चन बचे हैं लॉजिकल के, तब मेरे को लगा कि भाई मतलब पेपर खत्म नहीं होने वाला, तो 5-6 मिनट बचे होंगे। मैं पहली बार मैंने तब वॉच देखी, व्हेन आई लुक्ड एट द वॉच, हाफ एन आवर वाज लेफ्ट, 40 मिनट्स लेफ्ट सॉरी। देन आई वाज लाइक ओके, बहुत टाइम बचा है, हमने बहुत ही जल्दी ही रश कर दिया पेपर, मतलब अच्छे से हमने, मतलब आई वाज कॉन्फिडेंट, ऐसा नहीं लग रहा था मुझे मैंने रश करा है, बट आई वाज लाइक कि हाँ मैं मतलब सही कर दिया। देन आई थोड़ा सा चिल्ड, आई हैड लाइक वाटर, वेटेड फॉर सम वाइल, थॉट ओ अब तो AIR 1 आने वाली है, क्या करेंगे AIR 1 आने के बाद। फिर लाइक नहीं नहीं नहीं, पिछले बार भी ये सोच के गया था क्लैट में 1000 रैंक आने वाली है, मतलब छोड़ो, ये नहीं सोचते, अभी पेपर पे ध्यान देते हैं। एक पैसेज अच्छे से करा, वो 4 क्वेश्चन कोडिंग डिकोडिंग के बहुत बैठ बैठ के सोच सोच के एक एक चीज ने देखा क्या करा। ट्रस्ट में मेरे को आज तक नहीं पता वो कैसे सही हुआ है, मतलब मेरे को उसका लॉजिक नहीं पता कि मैं कैसे सही करके आऊँ जो असली था। वो तो बस मैंने वहाँ पे ये करा कि वो उसका था, मतलब जैसे W है तो X लिखा हुआ है, ऐसे उसको ही फिगर आउट कर करके वहीं कर दिया था कि, और वो बहुत मुश्किल था। एंड वो दैट वाज लाइक अ डिसाइडिंग फैक्टर फॉर टॉप रैंक्स एट लीस्ट, एंड आई गॉट ऑल 4 करेक्ट। तो दैट वाज मेजरली कि बस मैंने टाइम दिया, मैं डरा नहीं। बहुत लोग बस वो देख के कि अरे तो पैटर्न डर गए, ये सब करा था, तो मैंने वो नहीं करा था। तो ऐसे ऐसी चीजें हो जाती हैं। सो द होल आइडिया इज यू डू नॉट गो विद द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट और द लास्ट क्वेश्चन फर्स्ट, दैट्स नॉट अ गुड स्ट्रैटेजी टू गो विद। यू लुक एट द पेपर, फाइंड कि यार मेरे को ये सही लग रहा है, मतलब ये थोड़ा छोटा सा, पहले तो मैं ये देखूंगा यार लेंथ सेम है तो मतलब सही है, क्वेश्चन की लेंथ इज गुड, एंड इसमें मैथ्स बहुत लग रही है, मैथ्स देख के मेरा थोड़ा दिमाग वैसे ही धीरे हो जाता है, और दिस जेन्युइनली साउंड्स लाइक फील्स लाइक अ मैथ्स का पैसेज, तो ये तो मैं लास्ट करूंगा, दैट वुड हैव बीन माय प्रेफरेंस। देन आई वुड लाइक टू हैव सेकंड क्वेश्चन, कोविड-19 वैक्सीन, समथिंग मेक सेंस, अ क्वेश्चन, अ थिंग व्हिच आई कैन मेक सेंस ऑफ। वैक्सीन आई नो क्या होता है, मैंडेट क्या होता है आई नो, कोविड आई नो, तो just familiarity with the passage is important. Then what you do is you look at the questions first, not the passage. Do not read the passage first. You look at questions and figure out key 2-3 things. Number one, which questions can be solved right now without looking at the passage. Sometimes there are certain questions. They might give a line and say, what is the assumption in this line? Do you really need to read the passage at times to make sense of that line? A lot of times, no. If that is the scenario, then just be chill कि मैं तो ये अभी कर दूंगा। तो उसको फिगर आउट करो। सेकंड, फिगर आउट सर्टेन वर्ड्स दैट यू नीड टू मतलब सी लुक एट। अब जैसे इसमें विच ऑप्शन आइडेंटिफाइज अ फ्लॉ इन वाइट पेपर्स रीजनिंग, so it is possible white paper might refer to something particular in the passage as well. So just look out for that. Which two most weaken task force conclusion? मतलब टास्क फोर्स का अगर कुछ अलग से मेंशन हो तो आई जस्ट हाईलाइट कि ओके टास्क फोर्स वाइट पेपर, टास्क फोर्स मेन कंक्लूजन ये सब, एंड देन हाईलाइट कि देखो मेन कंक्लूजन की क्वेश्चन है विच इज मेजरली रीडिंग द पैसेज गेटिंग द वाइब ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, राइट? which assumption do most rely on? अगेन थोड़ा सा इसमें देख लो कि सेल्फ रिपोर्टेड, मतलब हाँ ये सब ऑप्शन नहीं पढ़ने अभी, इसमें डज नॉट मेक सेंस ऑप्शन पढ़ना। विच ऑप्शन बेस्ट आइडेंटिफाइज द फ्लॉ, अगेन इसको भी पढ़ना डज नॉट मेक सेंस। विच आर द फॉलोइंग, तो इसमें कुछ ऑप्शंस अभी से पढ़ के फायदा नहीं है, बस हाँ टास्क फोर्स और वाइट पेपर वाले करने हैं, और इनमें से अभी एक भी ऐसा क्वेश्चन है जो कैन बी सॉल्व देन एंड देयर। नाउ समवन had asked me now difficult easy paper, Riddhi I guess had asked. So, Riddhi, like now here is where a distinction of difficult easy comes in. If it's a difficult paper, you might not have to, you might not get to attempt the whole of the paper, whole of the passage. क्योंकि टाइम कम होता है। डिफिकल्ट क्या होता है, बहुत बड़ा पैसेजेस बहुत डिफिकल्ट। तो ये देखो कि कौन से क्वेश्चन है जो मैं अभी सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ, even before going to the passage. Just mark them before, not in the paper idly. Sorry, not in the OMR directly, but just mark कि ये A सही है, ये B सही है, C सही है। देन एक बार स्किम थ्रू द पैसेज, मतलब एक बार देख लो। बहुत बार ऐसा होता था डिफिकल्ट मॉक्स में, यू डू नॉट हैव टू रीड द पैसेज इवन वन, एंड लाइक 6 क्वेश्चंस व्हिच कुड बी सॉल्व्ड वहीं पे। सो व्हाई वुड यू वेस्ट योर टाइम? सो बी वेरी स्ट्रेटेजिक अबाउट दैट, यू हैव टू चूज ईच एंड एवरी सेकंड दैट यू स्पेंड देयर कि एग्जैक्टली क्या कर रहे हो इन द पेपर एटलीस्ट। सो इसलिए जस्ट बी वेरी स्मार्ट अबाउट व्हाट यू हैव टू डू। अब इसमें ऐसा है कि हाँ कुछ ऐसे सॉल्व नहीं हो सकता एकदम से, तो आई हैव टू रीड द पैसेज ओनली। So then also in the passage also what I'll do is divide the passage. In my mind, I used to create distinctions. I'll just tell you how. A National Public Health Task Force, okay, Task Force released a white paper. So अब मेरे को पता चल गया कि ये पूरा white paper के बारे में बात होने वाली है, तो मतलब कुछ ऐसे की टर्म मेरे को ढूंढने की जरूरत नहीं है। Asserting that workplace COVID-19 vaccinations mandate promote safer workspaces and reduce operational disruptions. Okay, keywords: safer workplace, reduce operational disruptions. The paper relies on interviews, now evidence. So this is it. So like this is the claim of the paper, right? कि safer workplace, operational disruption कम हो जाएगा COVID-19 वैक्सीन से। Now that is the evidencing which it has done. It had interviewed human resources heads from large companies that had already adopted mandates. Now, guys, when you actually start doing a lot of mocks and everything, तुम्हारा माइंड ही ऐसे चलने लगता है, so that's good. जब एविडेंस देखो तो बहुत बार क्वेश्चन कैसे होता है, एविडेंस में फ्लॉ क्या है, तो क्रिटिकली एंगेज विद द पैसेज। तो व्हेन आई वुड लुक एट दिस विद ह्यूमन रिसोर्सेज हेड्स फ्रॉम लार्ज कंपनीज, तो मेरे माइंड में एक चीज आएगी कि वन फ्लॉ इन देयर एविडेंसिंग कुड बी, are HRs the true representation of what the employees want or what is happening? Especially with regard to vaccine mandate and ये सब कुछ, safer workplace ये सब, मतलब in general is HR the best person? Could they have not interviewed the people as well in general? Why did they interview like the heads, like HRs वगैरह? How many of you would think when you get into a corporate job after doing law, मतलब, because I expect that's where a lot of you will end up. So, like, do you really think you will be very honest with your HR? तो इट इज पॉसिबल कि थोड़ा स्क्यूड आइडिया मिले एचआर को। एंड एचआर अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स आर द पीपल हु मैनेज सच स्टफ कि वो वैक्सीन मैंडेट सब कुछ। व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड समथिंग आई वुड तो हैव अ वेरी बिग स्टेक इन सेइंग कि चलो, मतलब अच्छे से ही बहुत बढ़िया चल रही है चीज, वेरी वेरी नाइस, राइट? सो आई वुड हैव जस्ट थॉट दैट कि हाँ इनके एविडेंस में गलती तो है। फिर मोस्ट इंटरव्यूज रिपोर्टेड फ्यूअर क्लस्टर्स, स्मूदर रोस्टर प्लानिंग, ग्रेटर एम्प्लॉय कॉन्फिडेंस। अब ग्रेटर एम्प्लॉय कॉन्फिडेंस ये सब, मतलब हाँ एचआर टेलिंग, तो व्हाई कुडंट दे जस्ट इंटरव्यूड द पीपल? बट हाँ ये मेरे माइंड में एक बस आएगी चीज। देन नाउ दिस, सो आई नो क्लेम, एविडेंसिंग, then this drawing on these responses and citing global practice, the task force recommends that all the state labor departments encourage firms to adopt vaccine mandates and link on-site access to proof of vaccination subject to reasonable medical exemptions. तो दिस इज द मेजर क्लेम ऑफ द मतलब टास्क फोर्स की जो उसने बोला था वो करा था, एंड दिस इज समथिंग व्हिच हैज बीन आस्क्ड टू अस, सो आई जस्ट कीप दैट, मतलब आई जस्ट, मतलब ऐसे पेन या पेंसिल से जस्ट पेन से ही वहाँ मार्केट की ये है। और मेरे पास थोड़े वो क्यूज थे, अगर कंक्लूजन है जो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है मेरे को पता है तो मैं सर्कल कर दूंगा उसका पहला वर्ड और पूरा फिर अंडरलाइन। बाकी अगर कुछ ऐसा लग रहा है कि कुछ स्पेसिफिकली शायद इंपॉर्टेंट हो उसको मैं ऐसे रेक्टेंगल में मार्क कर देता था पेपर में, तो मैं थोड़ा मतलब मार्किंग करता था पेपर में अच्छी खासी, टिक कर देता था कुछ चीजें। तो यूज, मतलब आइडियो कहते हैं मत करो, पर मैं तो मतलब करता था, मतलब कभी कुछ हुआ नहीं ऐसे कि पेपर में मार्क कर सकते हो, मैं तो मतलब इट्स फाइन, एनीवे यू टेक इट होम. फिर several civil liberties group dispute the conclusion. Okay, now here we have contentions. Civil liberty groups are there. They argue interviews came from firms predisposed to favor mandates and that white paper omits all small and informal enterprises. So yes, it is highlighting a bunch of things. Predisposition of, तो जब ये ऐसे claims वगैरह होता है ना, like survey वगैरह, तो उसमें कुछ ऐसी चीजें होती हैं कि you interviewed a bunch of people who said this person is very good, let's just take that. So the whole, matlab, okay, let's not that. Something like matlab, they have a predisposition about it. Ki already they had certain things which made them favor them, right? तो उससे मे बी यू आर नॉट गेटिंग अ वेरी एक्यूरेट रिजल्ट. तो दैट इज द होल आइडिया ऑफ मतलब एविडेंसिंग, कि तुम्हें थोड़ा ऐसे लोगों के assumptions बीच में नहीं आने चाहिए. अब हाँ, यू आर जजिंग समवन, लाइक यू हैव टू असेस कि A person worked well in a company or not. You ask B, C and D. B ने बोला बढ़िया बंदा है, C ने बोला बढ़िया बंदा है, D ने बोला मतलब अच्छा बंदा नहीं है. D ने उससे आज तक बात भी नहीं करी है A से. ओनली रीजन D सेड दैट वाज कि D को A के कपड़े अच्छे नहीं लगते थे. सो दैट्स जस्ट अ प्री डिस्पोजिशन यू क्रिएटेड बाय इन योर माइंड. मतलब उससे यू आर नो वन टू, मतलब नॉट इन पोजिशन टू जज. So, ऐसे होते predispositions. So yes, they just highlighted there are certain predispositions to favor mandates, and that white paper omits all small and तो हाँ, two major issues which highlighted कि small enterprises को तुमने लिया नहीं, बड़ी बड़ी कंपनी से पूछा, ऊपर से उन कंपनीज में गए जहाँ predisposition towards vaccine mandate. A labor union again notes that organization with generous paid sick leave and flexible scheduling reported fewer workplace disputes regardless of their stance on mandates. So now, can anyone tell me what is this? Well, this is a classical logical fallacy. Anyone? 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 So guys, I forgot the technical name for it, but basically it's misplaced reasoning in the sense that the reason for something is something, and मतलब जैसे इसमें ही वो क्या कह रहा है कि ओ कैन समवन एक्सप्लेन मी दिस लाइन, मतलब व्हाट वाज द क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ द लेबर यूनियन. एनीवन? Very, very well. Anyone guys, मतलब let's try to keep it interactive.
Like
Yeah, Sam.
like the labor union does some generous things to the employees, so they behave themselves around it, I guess.
I mean, that's fine, but what does this say? मतलब what does this line mean? A labor union knows that organizations with generous paid sick leave and flexible scheduling reported fewer workplace disputes regardless of their stance on mandates. Any reason? Okay, so basically this is misplaced
Mm.
reasoning. कि मतलब you attribute some result to something, but the actual reason is something else. जैसे here, the idea is fewer workplace disputes. So the task force said कि bro, vaccine mandates are crazy. Once you implement that, people don't fight apparently. मतलब fewer workplace disputes. So labor union says no, you only went to bigger firms which already have a very good culture. People don't fight. There you go and say कि अरे हाँ तो लड़ाई नहीं हो रही, मतलब कितना बढ़िया. It's like, मतलब हाँ, तो that's like a logical fallacy they're highlighting कि you, मतलब the reason why you think there are fewer disputes and the reason why you're suggesting vaccine mandate बढ़ाओ, that is not the reason. Reason is that you just went to very good companies जहाँ पे sick leave अच्छी मिलती है, flexible roster, तो लोग लड़ते नहीं हैं जानवर. तो misplaced reasoning, right? So this is one classical logical flaw. तो ऐसे आ सकते हैं, मतलब ये थोड़ी सी चीजें अवेयर होना चाहिए, राइट, कि ऐसे एविडेंसिंग में फ्लॉज आर फाउंड, ये सारी चीजें तो या Now moving on to this, not mandate, might underline smooth progress. A privacy collective adds that some firms paired mandates with intrusive health status apps, which may discourage symptom reporting and shifted infections off the books rather than preventing them. तो समथिंग ऑन द लाइंस जो मैंने हाईलाइट करा था कि यार एचआर को कौन ही कितना सच बोलता है, राइट? तो दे सेड कि तुमने ऐप से लिंक कर दिया कुछ जगहों पे एंड वहां पे लोग मतलब अंडर रिपोर्टिंग कर रहे हैं, ये सब कर रहे हैं, तो इससे लग रहा है कि बढ़िया है, बट मतलब मे बी इन्फेक्शन इज स्टिल देयर. Then the task force responds that overall pattern aligns with international experience and that encouraging mandates is proportionate step to safeguard workplace health. It concedes that white paper did not include longitudinal audits or randomized comparisons, but maintains that convergence of managerial testimony and international norms justifies its policy recommendation. Can you then tell me like what is this? What part of the passage is this? Sandhya, maybe you would like to try?
यस भैया. सो आई एक्चुअली बिलीव लास्ट में इसने हर चीज कंक्लूड कर दी है इन दिस पार्ट की, इवन दो हाँ ठीक है इसमें लॉन्गिट्यूडिनल ऑडिट्स नहीं है एंड बट स्टिल क्योंकि इंटरनेशनल नॉर्म्स और टेस्टिमनी से कंफर्म कर रहा है तो ये जस्टिफाई कर रहा है कि हाँ ये पॉलिसी हम रेकमेंड कर सकते हैं. तो लास्ट में इसने पूरे नेगेटिव पॉजिटिव चीजों को लेके कंक्लूड कर दिया है.
एग्जैक्टली, सो दिस जस्ट दैट आई हाईलाइट कि हाँ मेरी रीजनिंग में ये गलतियां हैं, ये फ्लॉज इन मतलब, बट मतलब फिर भी दिस स्टैंड, सो दैट्स वीकनेस कहते हैं एक्चुअली से. तो समथिंग विच वी डिस्कवर्ड व्हाइल वी वर चैट जीपीटिंग आवर इकोनॉमिक्स प्रोजेक्ट लाइक 8 hours बिफोर द डेडलाइन, नो 4 hours बिफोर द डेडलाइन. सो वी लाइक 4 people लाइक सैट टुगेदर एंड लाइक चलो 4 घंटे में प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है. तो चैट जीपीटी, डीप रिसर्च, डीप सीक का कुछ ये क्योंकि इकोनॉमिक्स इज लाइक वेरी वैसे. देन वी अंडरस्टूड अच्छा हमें फ्लॉज भी लिखने होते हैं ऐसे, मतलब बहुत सही है. तो मतलब हाँ, दैट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, बट मेजरली दैट्स हाउ अ गुड कंक्लूजन लुक्स लाइक. यू से कि यार हाँ ये गलतियां हैं बट स्टिल दिस स्टैंड्स. तो that's like the conclusion of a passage. So this is ideally how you can expect a clarity random passage to be like. Very neutral, very nice, comes up with something, counter arguments in favor of that. Conclusion being very कि हाँ बात तो सही है बट मतलब ये भी सही है, हमारी बात भी सही है. So very like balancing the act, right? So this is a very average, clat, A-lit passage that you can find. So the whole idea is just break down the passage a lot, right? मतलब you'll have to break down the passage a lot, evidence, conclusion, ये सारी चीजें. So yeah, but I believe that we have like very less time left. So मतलब yeah, I believe like major things which I wanted to highlight I have already done, and plus how to go about the passage, that is the main thing. Then question solving is supposedly like relatively an easier part of it. तो बट स्टिल आई recommend that you solve this section कि थोड़ा सा अलग है, मतलब अलग इन सेंस कि जैसे क्लैट में पेपर्स आए हैं 2 साल से, उससे थोड़ा मतलब न्यू टाइप है. तो जस्ट दैट विल बी लाइक अ गुड वे टू लुक एट इट. तो yep. तो if yeah, I guess with this we मतलब we will come to an end of the session. But if anyone has any questions up
Yes,
until
yeah.
now,
So I just have one doubt.
yeah, go ahead, Sam.
So like you just topped the exam like on the 2024 exam. So like before going to an exam, how should we our mind should be like, like for me, I'll be like mind would be stuck around something, and if I start reading those passages, I would be like my mind would be like somewhere else, and you know,
Okay, so concentration issue,
like,
right? Sort of.
not like concentration. So like how should your mind be? How should be nerves be
Hmm.
like?
So like here, honestly, Sam, like my mentor a lot, helped me a lot. Mudit bhaiya, if he's here, Abhi. But basically, trust me, like once that collateral thing happened, and like so I know what mindset actually works and what mindset does not work because I gave one paper with a mindset which did work and the other with. So I remember in the morning of CLAT calling up my mentor, being he called me, not I called him. He called me and he was like, how are you feeling? Everything is fine, right? Just to calm me down. And he was maybe expecting a bit anxious person on the other side of the call. But it was the opposite. I was too excited. I was like, I will get AIR 1 this year. And that's what I told him as well. He was मुझे थे आई एम गेटिंग AIR 1. पेपर में अभी 1 घंटा है, पेपर देखा भी नहीं, बट स्टिल लाइक ओ आई गेट AIR 1. So, but that was a wrong idea to have. Because that set expectations in my mind, right? And when I gave the paper, I was like, I am giving this to get AIR 1. So I cannot get anything wrong. When I saw that GK, like one or two things did not go in my favor, I was like, shit, AIR 1, I might not get AIR 1. Then I just lost interest in the papers and I messed that up. So that is one major mistake. On cut to A-late ka day, no expectations. My idea was just get as many questions as possible correct, right? And just be very fast because you might not be able to complete the paper. So the mindset you should have is A, being happy, right? Whatever makes you happy, listening to songs or just talking to some people, do that. For me, it was talking to my best friend. Matlab, he would do something like, wait, kuch na kuch ulta ulta, and we would laugh then. That's what he did on the day of the paper as well. That helped me. Secondly, what helped me was not having any expectations. When I started the paper, I was not thinking AIR 1 I have to get. I was thinking बस मतलब निकल जाए मतलब और बस हर चीज मार्क करने और जितना जल्दी हो पाए and everything I have to get right. I have to put my mind into every question. So that's the mindset you should have. But here definitely having a mentor helps a lot because he was the one who helped me build back my confidence from the shattered building that it was after CLAT. And so yeah. Make sense, Sam?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Perfect. And you can call me Bhaiya or Kanav, that's fine.
Yes.
Especially in LUD, we do not have a culture of sir or ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah. What is an ideal sectional for a single digit rank? Again, Ghavya, like it's different from different kind of papers, but as the paper is coming up until now, maybe two, three questions we can get wrong. Not more than that in logical. But yes, but it's like very easy papers have been coming, right? So oh yeah, thank you, Rahul. Like that's good. We have shared the answer key as well. So you can just go through and that answer key is also very detailed. But the whole idea is ki guys just try solving the paper the way I did. Like in the sense, go through the question first, choose which questions to answer, have certain keywords in your mind, then go to the passage, then break down the passage, evidence, critically engage with the passage because this keeps you engaged as well. Once you find a criticism in the passage, you think, oh, maybe it will address that criticism. So you keep very interacted in that passage. So it's to just be very, excited about the passage. So that's like the main thing. But yeah, I guess any other questions? Any other questions?
Bhaiya, I have.
Yeah, go ahead, Seth.
So, Bhaiya, there is only, less than 1 month left, and I'm still not confident enough because I have never touched a score of 90. Even
Mhm.
even others are getting 100 plus and 95 plus. So I don't think I'm enough confident, and the things are not going in my way. As you told about the logical reasoning, I will try these things, but
Hmm.
even not in logical reasoning, my other reasoning are also not good as other people's. So bhaiya, what can we do now? And I'm just so much depressed that even others are getting so much nice marks and I'm not. So bhaiya, what can we do now?
Hmm.
Pranav,
Okay.
I just heard this boy's question. Yeah, firstly, Sahaj, there are a lot of things that we can tell you about it. तो कनव एक तो आप ये चेक कर लो कोई मीटिंग में तो नहीं है मतलब वेटिंग रूम में
नहीं नहीं नहीं
हाँ,
there was one person I've added.
दूसरा इस क्योंकि मतलब ये सहज ये बहुत कॉमन चीज है आप अपने गोल पे तब तक फोकस नहीं कर सकते अगर आप दूसरे लोगों की प्रोग्रेस को सो इमेजिन यू रनिंग इन अ रेस एंड समबडी एल्स इज आल्सो रनिंग इन अ रेस आप अगर उनको देखते रहोगे तो आप अपने गोल पे फोकस कर ही नहीं पाओगे एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ द बेस्ट वेज टू गेट डिस्ट्रैक्टेड टू बी ऑनेस्ट एक स्टूडेंट ने ये पूछा था अभी स्टार्टिंग में कि अगर क्लैट का पेपर इस बार डिफिकल्ट आता क्या आता नो मैटर हाउ डिफिकल्ट इट विल बी इट नॉट बी मोर डिफिकल्ट देन क्लैट 2023 वाला जो आया था इट इज अभी तक का मुझसे सबसे डिफिकल्ट पेपर एंड दैट टू इज ऑन अ मॉडरेट लेवल ठीक है अभी सहज यू कैन अचीव अ लॉट क्लैट वाला जो पेपर का दिन है ना द स्टूडेंट्स हु आर गेटिंग 90 95 तो उनमें से 80 to 90% students will not be able to get 90 95 का score क्योंकि they are going to a lot of those students are super confident about their preparation rather overconfident and they mess up their मतलब कनव prepared 4 years to get a rank of 1000 बताओ इतना कौन प्रिपेयर करता है 4 साल के लिए जस्ट टू गेट अ रैंक ऑफ
Not to get
1000?
a rank of top.
हाँ,
Sure.
है ना? इतना तो दे, आई नो स्टूडेंट जिसने एक दिन प्रिपेयर करके शी गॉट अ रैंक ऑफ 720, क्योंकि शी वाज नॉट प्रिपेयरिंग वो ग्लैड, वो बचपन से बस न्यूज़पेपर पढ़ रही थी, दैट्स इट। तो कनव ने तो फिर गड़बड़ करी। द थिंग इज कि कनव आल्सो यूज्ड टू गेट अ लॉट ऑफ डिसेंट स्कोर्स इन हिज क्लैट मॉक्स, बट उस दिन क्या होगा, इट इज अ टोटली डिफरेंट थिंग। तो आपको अभी 1 महीना अपने लेवल पे फोकस करो बस। धीरे 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 करके आपको रियलाइज भी नहीं होगा आप किस लेवल पे पहुंच गए हो। और पेपर वाले दिन अगर आपने अपना माइंडसेट सही रखा ना, लॉट ऑफ दीज किड्स गेटिंग 100, 105, 110। कनव के साथ भी होते थे मॉक्स में, और कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट्स के मॉक में, जहाँ पे किड्स वुड गेट मोर देन 100, और कनव के 80, 85, 90 आते थे। तो कनव न्यू कि यार ये तो अनरीजनेबली इतने सारे बच्चे पेपर एक तो फेयर मीन से भी नहीं देते, ठीक है?
Me.
तो एक तो उस बात से भी यू नीड टू बी वेरी केयरफुल। तो उनका जो स्कोर आ रहा है वैसे, दैट डज नॉट सिग्निफाई दे आर एक्चुअली गुड। एंड डोंट वरी, इसके ऊपर वी कैन हैव अ डिस्कशन बाद में भी, क्योंकि इतने सारे स्टूडेंट्स के अंदर से दे आर एक्चुअली स्केर्ड अबाउट अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, एंड इट्स नॉर्मल। यू आर फेसिंग सच अ थिंग फर्स्ट टाइम इन योर लाइफ, एंड ऑल यू नीड इज वैलिडेशन फ्रॉम somebody who has given it. Kanav required it, other students require it, and the students who are taking, मतलब who are अभी इन पार्ट ऑफ स्टडी एंकर, हमारी पूरे साल यही बात चलती है, दे शेयर द सेम थिंग्स, कि उनको जो टेंशन होती है, जो एंजाइटी होती है ना? तो अभी मैंने देखा इशिता ने अपना वीडियो ऑन किया, अभी कल कल परसों आई वाज हैविंग अ मेंटरशिप सेशन विद इशिता, वहां पे हम यही बात कर रहे थे। हर किसी को ये एंजाइटी टेंशन होती है। तो बिल्कुल चिंता मत करो, बस अपने गोल पे ध्यान रखो। अगर आप उनके स्कोर से इंप्रेस हो रहे हो या डिस्ट्रैक्ट हो रहे हो, तो दैट मीन्स आप अपने गोल पे, अपने टारगेट्स पे पूरा फोकस नहीं कर पा रहे। एंड यार आप क्लैट के पास से पेपर देखो, इतना मुश्किल भी नहीं था। मुश्किल, सबसे मुश्किल था 23 वाला, उसको जज करो और आगे फिर देखो, ठीक है? करण, मैं तो बस ये बोलना चाह रहा था कि चेक कर लेना कोई बच्चा है या नहीं है वेटिंग रूम में, पर आई थॉट कि आई आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन
Actually,
आल्सो।
like, we are almost done as well. If you want to add anything, and let's just take the doubts together.
नहीं, आप अभी ले लो एक बार वो नव्या भी आएगी, शी आल्सो हैज टू एड्रेस सर्टेन थिंग्स।
Okay,
तब तक आप
sure.
इनके डाउट्स ले लो थोड़े, और
Sure,
सारा
sure.
पेपर डिस्कस कर लिया।
We have discussed the passages and how to go about it and everything. Okay.
ठीक है, तब तक आप इनके और डाउट्स लो, फिर एक बार नव्या भी आएगी, है ना? हाँ।
Sure. But yes, guys, anything else that you might have a question, and like just to address थोड़ा सा और सहज कि यार it's very natural. मतलब एक तो seriously realize, मतलब I तो had this in my mind. A, the people who are getting such like crazy mock scores, unfair means. Second, even the ones who are using fair means, trust me, 60-70% of them will end up in thousand, 2000s of rank. Why? They'll just mess up the paper. I did that. तो अब जैसे आई एम प्रिटी श्योर देवर अ गुड नंबर ऑफ पीपल एटलीस्ट में ग्रुप वगैरह, तो उन सबको मतलब बहुत थे कोचिंग में जितने थे जानते थे उनको मेरे स्कोर से डर लगता था कि मतलब देवर स्कैर्ड ऑफ कि ओ कर्नफ तो मतलब बहुत क्रेजी रैंक लेके आएगा ही, बहुत क्रेजी मार्क्स लेके आएगा। लॉट ऑफ पीपल यूज्ड टू गेट वेरी बॉग डाउन कि यार मतलब मेरे जब बहुत ज्यादा स्कोर आ रहे थे, 100 आ रहा है, उनका भाई 40-50 पे है, तो उन्हें लगता था। बट दे a lot of them actually ended up getting a better rank than me. That was all because I messed up the paper. And trust me, it happens to the best of the people. So that will also happen. So just imagine, minus the unfair means wale people, minus the people who actually mess up the paper, considering that you give the paper अच्छे से, you're already there. मतलब it's not that difficult. So, and trust me, CLAT is not that difficult. It's not. Once you give the paper and you end up in a good college, then you realize it's not. You can find a way out. So even if it's not difficult, मतलब even if it is difficult, then it's better to think it's not difficult, because that just puts you in a better frame of mind, right? So just gaslight yourself into believing that CLAT is very easy. So yeah.
Thank you,
Uh,
VM. Thank you very
no
much.
worries, Saj. Where are you from, by the way?
Bhaiya, I am from Indore.
Oh, nice. We have a lot of people from Indore in our college.
अच्छा कनव, बाय द वे अभी नव्या भी ज्वाइन करेगी, मैं भी अभी कर ही रहा हूँ। आई विल आल्सो डिस्कस सर्टेन मोर थिंग्स, ठीक है? तब तक इनके डाउट्स ले लो जो भी है
As
इनके,
you
और
showed. But yes, guys, anything else? Anyone has any doubts? Anyone? Um, okay, that's great. Okay, we have a doubt. Whoever has raised their hand, you can ask the question. I can't see your name.
Yes, Bhaiya, I actually have doubt regarding ALIT.
Yeah.
So I do follow the strategy of doing the easier questions first to nail it,
Hmm.
but still I tend to get confused between the options a lot.
Vanshika, that happens in general. Matlab, वो तो it's just that you practice more na, so you get better. If you had given me certain questions better, I would have been able to help you out. But in general, यही होता है कि it happens. Like it's not the only thing that helps, ना कि तुम बस strategy follow. You should also know how to get the questions right and everything. So the way around that is usually, what happens, Vanshika, you are just not clear with certain small things. Once you're clear with that, usually I'm sure it would happen with you as well. You would have narrowed it down to two options and now you have to choose among the two and then you go with the wrong one. Does it happen
Mm.
with you?
Yes.
Yeah. So the way around that is you just have to read those two statements बहुत अच्छे से. There has to be a flaw which you miss in
Mm.
either of them. Whichever has the flaw, eliminate that. If not that, one thing which worked for me, nail it, was go with the first intuition and first gut, like first impression में जो सही लग रहा है. Mark that. In my mocks, I used to at times overthink about a question. But this time around, when I gave A-Lit, I had this urgency in my mind कि, paper खत्म हो जाएगा और it's better to get two questions wrong but attempt five questions rather than just getting two questions right but मतलब उन्हीं पे बस वही पढ़ के रह गया. तो मेरा ये पॉइंट था कि एक क्वेश्चन पढ़ने के चक्कर में पांच क्वेश्चन छोड़ नहीं सकता. तो उस चक्कर में जो मेरे को पहले लुक पे सही लगता था, सी डी तो एलिमिनेट करे, ए बी में क्वेश्चन कंफ्यूजन है, थोड़ा सा अच्छे से पढ़ा, कोई फ्लॉ नहीं मिला, पहले पहले लुक पर ए सीम्स बेटर, मार्क दैट एंड गो हेड. क्योंकि लॉट ऑफ टाइम दोस क्वेश्चंस आर एक्चुअली मेड इन सच अ वे कि जो फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन पे सही लग रहा है दोज आर सपोज टू बी द राइट आंसर and just have this urgency in your mind. So a lot of
Mm.
time you know कि ये आंसर है पर पता नहीं क्यों you would look at B and then you overthink and then you just end up marking B. So the best way is to prevent overthinking. Don't give your mind the time to overthink. So just have an urgency when you do A-Late KV questions. So that's the way to go around it. Make sense?
Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just try it out. But it genuinely works. It worked wonders for me.
Okay, sure.
So
Anyone else? किसी और को कोई डाउट है?
Yes, yes, Bhaiya, I wanted to ask regarding Elite, it's also something about time management. So is there any ideal time management thing that you have to do, you should follow, or something like that?
like I for one, Shivangi, I just Matlab, I just had this that I just had a sense of urgency. I did not have like set time constraints. You have to do logical in this much time, you have to do English in this much time. It was just to do everything very differently because in A-Lit, it's very difficult to have timelines. It might happen that they might make logical sections such small that you should ideally be done with it in half an hour. While they end up making English section such big that you'll have to give 1 hour or something. So you cannot have as a deadlines over it. It's better ki every question you just be fast and you just have a sense of urgency in doing everything you're doing. So yeah.
Or regarding the order of the section you attempt. So is there any?
So like order of so there's something which like differs from paper to paper. So it's better to analyze each and every paper, any mock that you give with your mentor or anything. So that's there. So like for me, it was like Mudit and me. We used to sit together and just talk about the mentorship. Like, sorry, about the paper, and that helped me out a lot. So maybe just find a mentor that way. And also yes, so like give a lot of different kinds of papers. So test series, like just have like a good test series sorts so that you have like varied papers to give, which has like sometimes English being difficult, sometimes logical being difficult. So just having a variety of questions in like one test series only, not consistent types of questions being asked. So that's there. And apart from that, so uh, I just one thumb rule, go with the easier things first, but in general, like maybe prefer logical first. Q logical में there are different kinds of questions coming in. So you can actually like legal के questions were asked in my year as well. Logical के अंदर ही there are legal reasoning वाले questions the whole time. So you do use that as well. उनको अच्छे से करो. So that could help. And so just start off idly with logical. But obviously if English is seeming too easy, and plus logical is also the tiebreaker section. So it might happen that four questions you had to leave, मतलब कि paper complete नहीं हो सकता. Four questions, leaving four questions in English is a better proposition than leaving four questions in logical. क्योंकि logical is your tiebreaker section. Maybe a 0.25 there helps you get into NLU Delhi. While इंग्लिश में अगर 0.25 सेम 0.25 in English might not. So just maybe go with logical. So yeah,
Okay, भैया, thank you.
no worries. And also give मेरी एक साल के पहले वाला ये लेट वो बहुत ही अलग था उसमें there was like one passage English one passage logical हर passage पे एक English एक logical तो yeah. I recently did an A-Late 24 and I was able to get score of 106.25 and I still think I could have scored more. Rest of in English. How to deal with RC where two options are close? So Rahul Raj, firstly, that's a very good score because the cutoff was 105 point something. And considering that's without GK roughly, so that's like extremely good. So, but how to deal with the RC where two options are close? Well, you just look at if there's any flaw in one particular one. If not, then just go ahead and um, mark anything. At times, the intuition works. At times, you have to take that bet. So yeah, I have a problem in reading comprehension. Priya, I guess it's better to have like this kind of mentorship as a one-on-one thing rather than this. Because a lot of people are there. So maybe Madhur Bhaiya?
अभी नव्या will tell them
Yeah,
about that.
sure.
Before that, यार, any other questions जो starting में जैसे students से पूछे थे about what I'm seeing is some people have talked about ideal score and all. Ideal score changes every year. Last year ideal score was more than 120. उससे पहले ideal score was 105. उससे पहले ideal score was something else 88. So in every A-Late का paper, the ideal score has been different. In every CLAT का paper, ideal score has been slightly different. तो वो पेपर वाले दिन आपको पता चलेगा कि पेपर का मॉक का लेवल कैसा है, व्हाट इज द लेवल एंड हाउ मच डू वी नीड टू स्कोर इन दैट पर्टिकुलर मॉक इन दैट एग्जाम. ठीक है. सो इफ और किसी का कोई भी डाउट, फिर नव्या विल टेक ओवर एंड शी विल एंड द सेशन. है किसी का कोई भी और डाउट जो स्टार्ट ऑफ द सेशन में जो आप लोगों ने पूछे थे? नहीं है तो ठीक है. ठीक है नव्या, यू कैन टेक ओवर नाउ. Before exam we'll reach 2 hours early. How to avoid overthinking? How to avoid overthinking? Just watch something या फिर just read थोड़ा बहुत जीके. फोकस ऑन. मैंने तो यही किया था, मैं भी 2 घंटे पहले पहुंच गया था एग्जाम में एंड आई स्टार्टेड रीडिंग जीके. आई स्टार्टेड फोकसिंग ऑन जीके एंड जो जो मेरे को करना है, दैट्स इट.
I
दैट्स व्हाट
reached
आई
the
डिड.
exam center way before and then sat in the paper 1 hour before. मतलब पता नहीं मेरे को लग रहा था कि अगर मैं क्लासरूम में सबसे पहले बैठूंगा तो कितना बढ़िया लगेगा. So I was the first person to reach the classroom and I sat 1 hour before. So that was not a good idea.
ठीक है. तो नव्या, यू हियर?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here. So, guys,
तो
like
ठीक है.
I think Kanam must have told you about the test series as well as the CR bullets that we are providing. I have shared the links in the chat box. Can everyone see it? There are two links. One is for the test series and one is for CR bullets. And then also, if any of you want to book a one-on-one session with Kanav or Mudit sir, you can contact on the number that I've given you guys. So just copy this message and keep it with you all. Also, I also wanted to tell you all that the CR bullets and the test series, just for today, the people who attended this session is on a 50% off for all of you who attended this session. From tomorrow onwards, it will back to be its original rate, but for just for the people who have attended this session, for you all, it's going to be at 50% off. Or if you want to, share it with some of your friends, just for today, it's for on 50% off. So if you have any doubts and anything, you can just contact on the number I've given. Just copy paste the message that I've sent on the chat. I hope everyone can see it. So in the CR bullets, it's like a course of critical reasoning, and it has been made by Kanav. And the test series, there are like 10 mocks which are of different levels, because like the 10 mocks that you give right before CLAT should be well curated and should be of different levels, because you don't know what kind of level will come in CLAT, right? So stop giving random mocks for the last month. अब एक ही महीना बचा है, तो एकदम random mocks if you will give, that's not gonna do you any good. Give mocks which are well curated according to the consortium and is of different levels, so that you don't get shocked. And like the CR bullets, just for today, it is for 499, and the test series is for 999. So you can just contact on the number that I've given, or just directly purchase the course on the link that I've given. Yes, so that's all I wanted to say, and I hope you all had a good session. And if you want any future sessions wherein you wanna clear doubts with Kanav or Mudit sir, again you can just contact on the number. Or if you have any suggestions for the future sessions, do let us know.
But yes, thank you guys for joining in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
No worries, and all the best for the paper.
Neeti, Ayana, Kansha, do you guys have anything to say? Oh, Ayana and Neeti, are you guys there?